I could give somebody the exact strategy. Here's how you build a $10 million business. It cannot fail. Step 1, do this. Step 2, do this. Step 3, do this. But if that person still had a fear of failure because of what their peers would say about them, they would still overanalyze the entire thing. I was having dinner with some of my closest friends earlier this year when I got a text sent to my phone, and I happened to check it, and it was a headline that one of my previous students had sold their business for over $100 million. My initial gut reaction to seeing the news that one of my students, somebody that had come to our events, somebody who had started their business in our community, from the very humble beginnings with a few $1,000s, was getting $100 million. Like, you'd think I would just be totally stoked. But my reaction was actually to feel bad about myself. And the thoughts in my brain just started going crazy. Like, I've never built a $100 million business before. Oh, everybody's passing me. I'm such a loser, I'm a failure. That could have been me. What am I doing with my life? That was my internal dialogue, and it distracted me so much from dinner that I had to excuse myself and go collect my thoughts for a second and be like, what's going on? What am I really upset about? And the truth is, like, I'm not upset at my old student, right? I'm not mad at them. I'm just upset at myself for not having accomplished something that I deeply desire. And it's interesting how we do this to ourselves all the time. Whenever we want something really bad and we perceive that we're not gonna get it, when we see other people get it, we feel this internal reaction and we tend to blame them or make up stories about them. I had that little glimpse of that because the truth is, what I have is this deep desire to have a business that has that type of impact, that has that amount of scale, has that amount of leverage. But it made me start to wonder. I put out so much content here about having 8-figure exits, about starting your first $1 million business, about becoming an entrepreneur, about being successful, heck, I've got videos about how to retire with $237 million. That's a really good video, by the way. You should totally watch that video. But it made me wonder, I wonder if any of my content triggers that in the people who watch it. I wonder if I talk about having an 8-figure exit and somebody inside has that like trigger for them, where they're like, ugh, I want that so bad. And it's interesting because I've had 8-figure exits. I've built businesses that I've sold, and I know that it's not that complicated. It's not that hard. Like, I can be on the other side of that experience, be like, I can show you how. Here's a whiteboard video. I can draw all of this out for you. But if you have that twinge, that reaction, that self-doubt come up, that information isn't helpful. In the same way, when I saw the news that somebody that I know and care about had a $100 million exit, my initial reaction wasn't to say, oh, cool, that's an example that I can follow, which would be a logical reaction. No, my first reaction was to feel bad about myself, to doubt myself, to see all of the things that came up for myself that were holding me back from having that type of success. And it made me want to share more about that side of the journey. Because the reality is, the goals we pick, the desires we have, the targets we set are really just anchor points to align us behind them and then work on all the stuff that comes up. It's a personal journey more than anything else. And when that experience happened to me, it was a beautiful reflection for me of all of the different things, all the different beliefs, all the different mindsets, all the different things going on in my brain that were creating my results. And it made me want to share more of those. Maybe I want to highlight more of those, because that's actually what holds people back. That's actually what determines whether or not somebody is successful. It's really an internal game. It is really about the process of who you become on the journey to accomplish everything that you want. I have in my brain 3 checkpoints that I want to hit. I want to have a $30 million net worth because that's considered ultra high net worth individuals. Sounds cool. Not quite there just yet. I want to have a $100 million business because that sounds fun. I don't need to own 100% of it. I just want to have a $100 million business. That sounds awesome. And I want to buy a Major League Baseball team. You know, ever since I was a kid, I wanted those things. I wanted to have $100 million and I wanted to own a Major League Baseball team. But the truth is, I know that if and when I get those things, I'm still gonna be me. Those things don't change anything about who I am. In fact, however happy I am now is probably gonna be how happy I am when I have $100 million and when I own a baseball team. How happy I am now making this video is exactly how happy I'm going to be sitting in the owner's box in Cleveland, dealing with whatever problems that person deals with. Things like attendance and signing the big player and all of that. Right? They're just different levels of you. They're just different levels of expression of you. And so it's always a personal journey. I used to think that the most helpful thing that I could do for other entrepreneurs was teach how-to business stuff.
Hey everybody, my name is Ryan Daniel Moran, and in this video I want to show you something that's been working really well in our business.
And I've done that most of my career, like sharing everything that I have learned along the way, and it's been really helpful for a lot of people. But I've also discovered that the how-to piece of it means nothing if the person isn't ready for it. The how-to piece of information, like I could tell you exactly what to invest in or what I'm investing in or how much I'm putting in and why and what the strategy is and how to find good stocks to buy and X, Y, Z. But if that person is still afraid of losing money, they're not gonna do any of it. I could give somebody the exact strategy. Here's how you build a $10 million business. It cannot fail. Step 1, do this. Step 2, do this. Step 3, do this. But if that person still had a fear of failure because of what their peers would say about them, they would still overanalyze the entire thing. And in their brain, they'd be completely logically justified for it. So it's an internal thing. When I had that experience of the doubt and the putting myself down because somebody else passed me, somebody else made more money than me, it just brought up all of the stuff that was in my way of me having that experience, of me having a $100 million business. And it was so cool because I caught it in that moment. I caught it and got to see, oh, I need to work through that. Like I need to think through that. And when I think through that, I'll actually be in the mental position to be able to handle a $100 million business. And that's really the story that I want to share. That's really the piece of this that I hope someone who finds my work discovers. I hope that they can see me in the context of the journey of somebody who has great ambition, somebody has dreams of a high amount of success, and they can see themselves in the journey and they can see their own mental roadblocks. Because when I was a kid, I remember thinking like, I just wish somebody would tell me exactly how to do it and I'll do it. Just show me exactly what to do and I'll get it done. Show me what I need to do to be successful and I will be successful. If somebody knew exactly what the playbook was for me, it would have been like, hey, at 24, you're gonna start a company and make some money, but then you're gonna have some mom stuff come up. And you're gonna remember when like you grew up and your parents split and they fought about money, and that's gonna like get in your way, and you're gonna have subconscious things that you do to self-sabotage. Oh, also you're gonna have a kid at 27, and then you're gonna have to go into provider mode for a while, and that's gonna bring up a whole bunch of other junk. Wait, what? No, what product do I sell? What investments do I make? Tell me all that. They'd be like, well, I mean, you should probably buy Bitcoin and Amazon and Apple for sure. But if you're gonna do that, you first need to get over like that need for security that you have, because your parents split when you were 12 and you felt like you were alone and you needed to work through that and like go to therapy, and instead you're gonna be too scared to invest. So like I can tell you buy Amazon and Apple, but you won't do it because you're too scared to invest because you feel you have this other stuff to work through first. I'd be like, who is this crazy person and why won't they tell me how to be successful? So I really wanted the clear playbook. And I had no idea at that time that it was all me. It was all me. If you believe in yourself and double down on yourself and do the work on yourself, then nothing can stop you. Nothing. Nothing I say is gonna stop you. Nothing anybody says that doubts you, like that's not gonna hold you back. But if you doubt yourself, if you don't believe it yourself, then no amount of external how-to information is gonna help you. That sucks. I wish it wasn't that way. I wish it was completely the opposite. Because I don't wanna do the hard work on myself. I don't wanna have to see that junk, right? That sucks, that's not fair. Because we've all got it. But the truth is, that's what actually holds us back. And so I wanted to share more about the things I haven't achieved yet. Like I haven't had a $100 million business yet, and I feel like I'm ready for that. I feel like I'm in the position where I'm ready to have my $100 million thing. I don't need to have the $100 million thing. Like, I don't need to have a $100 million business in order to feel like I'm an accomplished person. Maybe a little. I mean, I probably still have some of that in there. But for the most part, like, I'm really about enjoying my life right now, and having a $100 million business sounds fun. And I know that by sharing the journey along the way of getting to a $30 million net worth and a $100 million business, and like not knowing what that is and figuring that out and working through my own challenges and doubts and beliefs along the way, I hope that people see that and see themselves in that. And as a result, are able to explore themselves and their own desires and their own dreams. That's what I hope people take away from it. So I wanted to share that with you because I know that almost all my content is here is exactly how. And sometimes I get comments on the videos that are like, why doesn't Ryan have 1 million subscribers? And I've always said, the market's the market. Maybe my videos aren't good enough. But now I have a different opinion. Now I realize that like if someone doesn't believe that they can do that, then no amount of content will change them. And I want to share more about my own journey of going to 100 million or not, 30 million net worth or not, getting the baseball team or not. That's the real story. That's the real journey. And I hope that as a result of sharing more of that, you see more of yourself in the process. So if entrepreneurship is your route, if entrepreneurship is your path, you should follow along the journey. You should hit the subscribe button. Let's do this. Let's have some fun together, right? I don't promise to know anything, but I promise to share the entire journey. And I promise to share everything that's going on. Because I always wished that somebody gave me the playbook, the handbook. And the reality is, you're the playbook. Like what's going on with you is the playbook. And I hope that by me sharing it, you'll experience that a little bit faster than I did. I'm Ryan Daniel Moran. I'm trying to buy the Cleveland Guardians. I'm doing that by building businesses and investing the profits. And I hope you'll follow along for the journey. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next video. Take care.